Hello, Steve Arts 89. Well, Jason Momoa has been cast as Lobo in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, which is set to be released in July 2026. I don't know about this. Now, God, I mean, we love Jason Momoa. I love him, he's amazing. He never really fit Aquaman for me because Aquaman started off being this sort of preppy blonde looking thing in green and orange, and he never really fit that for me. But I know the comics had different versions, and he had long hair, and he sort of looked a bit more like Jason Momoa, but not really. It felt like a stretch to fit him into that. It's like they just thought Jason Momoa was cool, and they just wanted to get him into one of the roles, and they just sort of pushed it a little bit to get him as Aquaman and sort of make that believable. But he pulled it off. The first film was a big hit. The second film seemed to work. He played Aquaman in the Justice League films and that, and he did a good job. People love Jason Momoa, but he's sort of just being Jason Momoa. And now, there was talk back then that he would have been better cast as Lobo, and I'm like, who the hell is Lobo? I still don't know who Lobo is. I think he's a bounty hunter, and he just looks. You can sort of imagine Jason Momoa playing this character, and it seems like a very superficial thing. It's like, well, why didn't you just cast him as that in the first place? Why did you push him into the Aquaman role and sort of break that mold a little bit? And now you just cast him this anyway. And then that brings up all the issues of when they first said they were rebooting the DC universe, they were keeping the stars in their roles. They said Henry Cavill was going to be Superman, and they said there was some conjecture about whether that would happen or not, and then because there was all that announcement and then the back and forward and all that, and then the final word that he's gone, even though they hadn't come back and say he was coming back and all that. So there was a whole bunch of drama there. Wonder Woman Gal Gadot, they always said she was going to stay as Wonder Woman. They were doing a third film with her and Patty Jenkins. That fell through with Patty because she had issues, and then they said no, Gal Gadot is still definitely being Wonder Woman. And she came back, so don't worry, I've talked to them, I'm coming back, and then they got rid of her too. But Jason Momoa, they decided to keep. I'm like, okay, he's playing a different character, but how do you pull that off? He's already played Aquaman, and now you're going to have him play Lobo? And is he going to be playing Lobo or just playing Jason Momoa again? So you just got more Jason Momoa films. So I'm like, what are they doing? Oh, that's right, they don't know what they're doing because James Gunn's in control and he doesn't have a clue. He can't seem to do a film about a superhero alone unless it's some sort of group. So he's overpopulated the Superman film, and it's not about him, it's about the whole superhero situation and all the other superheroes all involved. And it's just looking disastrous at this point. And everyone seems to be saying it. It seems to be united between the Superman fans who have genuine issues and all the chuds who are all jumping on that bandwagon as well. And I don't see any real signs. I mean, he at least is trying to get the tone and the colour of the sort of the comic book sort of universe right, which is something that Snyder got wrong. His films were too serious and too dark and no joy at all. These films, at least it looks like they're trying to have some fun and they've actually got actual colours. But that's a superficial thing, and that's something he pays the DP or someone to do, or the person who does the colour grading. It's really has nothing to do with the story and the acting and just... So I don't have a lot of faith in this. I don't know who Lobo is. I don't know if Jason Momoa can pull him off, or if he basically just is Jason Momoa, and then we're going to have Jason Momoa playing Jason Momoa again, which is kind of... Fortunately, I had no attachment to Aquaman. I didn't really care that they replaced him with Jason Momoa because I loved Jason Momoa. I thought he was hot. And he's one of those interesting characters who doesn't have any toxic male traits. He's not scared to, wear pink, and he's man enough to not be worried by any of that stuff little men are afraid of. So he's an interesting character, and he's done a lot of interesting things in his interviews. So I don't mind the idea of him sticking around, but it just seems unfair to keep him in some way, but to get rid of Gal and Henry, it just is a real kick in the a bit of a kick in the guts to them, which I don't. It just feels like a train wreck. From the Superman images that came out that looked awful, and the trailer which shows too much too soon, which seemed to be a response to all the negative press. They just wanted to get some of it out to say, see, it's good. And now it's like, and now what are you going to do for the next 7 months to keep people interested in the film? I just think Gunn is useless. He worked for the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, and that's really it. And somehow they gave him the keys of the kingdom, and they're making him the person who's going to make all the films about all the other superheroes when they're all very different, need to be treated very differently. And I don't know the deal with Lobo. I don't know if this is good casting, but it just seems really unfair to keep him and get rid of the other actors when they're all great in their roles. Although at least I know Henry and Gal were good as their roles. I don't think Momoa was good as Aquaman because I don't remember Aquaman being anything like the character of his. Now, I'm not sure of the later versions that looked different, had different personalities and stories, because I didn't read the comics that extensively, but the movies are supposed to be their own thing for audiences to get into that don't have to read all the books. So I don't know if this is going to work or not, but it's happening.